Okay, hello dear friends. For quite some time we didn't do practice of verify each identity. We didn't do trigonometry, so we will practice. Give me some time to copy. This is a question. Secant x divided by sine x over sine x minus sine x over cosine x equal to cotangent x. So what do? Secant, I do not like secant. Unfortunately, I do not like secant. So I can change into secant. We know secant is 1 over cosine x. So we can change into 1 over, on the left side, 1 over cosine x times sine x over 1, right? This is 1 over cosine x and sine 1 over sine x on this side minus cosine x sine x. Did I change anything? I didn't change anything. I just write this secant x into another form. Now we write down cotangent x. We continue to do it because this one is fraction with different denominator. So first thing when you see it, you need to change into the same denominator. So we make it the same denominator. This side is sine x cosine x denominator, and numerator is 1, and minus cosine x into sine x. Now what do? We need to make it into the same denominator. So we times sine x. If we times sine x in the denominator, we need to do the same thing on the numerator. So you do it on the bottom, you have to do it on top. Otherwise, it's not fair. You have to do bottom and top the same thing. Let's put it simple in our human language instead of a scientist language, right? So now we see the bottom is the same, right? But the bottom is the same. Now the upper part, we can do the calculation. So it becomes sine x cosine x as denominator as bottom, and on top 1 minus sine x times sine x is sine square x, right? Sine x square or sine square x, sine x square, okay, equal cotangent x. Are we getting there? Is that equal? We still are not sure if this is equal. Let's do the calculation. And we know one thing, 1 minus sine square x equals to cosine square x, right? We know it. We do not need to say it. But anyway, I will still say it. Sine x square plus sine square x plus cosine square x equal to 1. This we know. Just as long as you are high school students, you know it, right? You do not need to explain it, right? So cosine square x equal 1 minus sine square x. Are we right? We didn't do anything. We just switch the place of it. So we know cosine square x equal to 1 minus sine square x. So 1 minus sine square x equal to cosine x. And sine x cosine x equal cotangent x. And cosine square x can be regarded as cosine x times sine x. Upper part and above part we divide by cosine x. So it becomes cosine x over sine x equal cotangent x. And this is plain as day, right? So we proved it is right. Okay, here is another problem. Still verify each identity. And the problem is different. And number 2, the question is 1 plus tangent x over 1 plus cotangent x equal to tangent x. What the is this? Anyway, we will see tangent x we can change into sine x over cosine x, so that let's see what we can do, right? On the upper part, we can change into 1 plus sine x over cosine x. And on the bottom part, we can change into 1 plus cosine x over sine x equal to tangent x. Are we equal? I'm not so sure. Let's continue to do it. And on the upper part, on the numerator, we can find the common denominator is cosine x over sine x plus I will do it again. No talking. So on the numerator part, the denominator, the numerator is a compound, is a composite, a fraction. So on the numerator part, it's still a fraction. So the fraction have the same denominator, cosine x, and 1 is cosine x over cosine x is 1 plus sine x, right? We plus sine x. On the bottom part is sine x over 1 over sine 1 times 1 over sine 1 times sine x is sine x plus cosine x 等于 tangent x. We still need to have a question mark there. Okay, now we can take a look. The numerator is the same and the denominator is different. When you divide this number, it means it flip up together. So at least we can both cross-canceling this, cross-canceling sine x plus cosine x, and cosine x is on the bottom, and sine x is flip, yes, becomes sine x on top, 等于 tangent x. Gosh, we got it again. How can we be so smart? I just cannot figure out the reason for this. We are just so good. We figure it out that the equation is absolutely true. Yeah. How good I am. I love myself. I passionately love myself. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue to do the verification of an identity. Secant x minus 1 over secant x plus 1 plus cosine x minus 1 cosine x plus 1 equal to 0. What are you trying to play with me? Okay, so secant, we know it means the opposite, the reciprocal of cosine x, right? Minus 1, bottom part. 1 over cosine x plus 1 plus cosine x plus 1 cosine x minus 1 equal to 0. Are we equal to 0? So this one you have to make sure that they are the same denominator, right? On the upper part, the denominator is cosine x. On the flip part is 1 minus cosine x, right? Cosine x over cosine x is 1. Okay, on the bottom part, cosine, oh, why I always say it's cocox. Cosine x and 1 is the same one plus cosine x plus cosine x minus 1 cosine x plus 1 equal to 0. Are we equal to 0? We can cross cancel this, cross cancel cosine x, and becomes 1 plus cosine x. On the numerator is 1 minus cosine x plus, oh, they are the same, cosine x plus 1. The denominator is the same, 1 plus cosine x or cosine x plus y. It just change the order, but it is the same thing. So cosine x minus 1. We have one negative cosine x, a positive cosine x, get rid of it. Positive 1, negative 1, get rid of it. So it equals 0 over x cosine x plus 1. Anything divide 0. 0 divided by anything will be 0. We are right. Again. Gosh. Again. Okay. Number 4. Cosine 2a over 1 plus sine 2a equal cotangent a minus 1 cotangent a plus 1. So cotangent we do not like. We change into sine cosine. And this is 2a, this is a. We need to use double angle formula. Cosine 2a equal to cosine square a minus sine square a. And 1 plus sine 2a equal 2 sine a cosine a. Cotangent we can change into cotangent we can change into cosine over sine a minus 1 cosine a over sine a plus 1, right? Okay, now it's becoming quite clear. Cosine a square minus sine a square we can change into cosine a plus sine a times cosine a minus sine a. And this one, 1 is, okay, I will just write it down. Sine square a plus cosine square a is 1 plus 2 sine a cosine a equal, and this time we can change on the other side, sine A over cosine A. We didn't change anything, minus sine A. So we are making it the same common denominator, same denominator, and bottom is sine A cosine A plus sine A. We can cross cancel this. Anyway, take some time. We'll do it slowly. So cosine A plus sine A times cosine A minus sine A. And on the bottom is cosine A plus sine A square, right? So we cross cancel one. So cosine A minus sine A cosine over cosine A plus sine A equal, and cross cancel this common this denominator. So cosine A minus sine A cosine A plus sine A. So we are right again. Okay, so question number 4 or 5? Let me see. Number 5. Dun, dun, dun. So sine 7 pi over 8. We can know this one is smaller than pi, but bigger than half pi. So it's, let's draw this angle here. So this angle 7 pi over 8 is smaller than pi and larger than half a pi. So it's in second quadrant. In second quadrant, the x value is negative and y value is positive. So we know the sine value is x, so the final value will be a negative value. Is a negative value, is smaller than 0. Now we will take a look at this angle. This angle, I am not so familiar with pi over 8, but I'm more familiar with pi over 4, which is 45 degrees. Okay, so we can use half angle formula to solve this problem. So we can suppose this as a half angle, and this is a half angle of a full angle, and this full angle will be equal to half of 7 pi over 4, right? So let's look for 7 pi over 4. And this one is bigger than 1.5 pi and smaller than 2 pi. So it is in fourth, how do I write 4? In fourth quadrant, right? So this one is in fourth quadrant, and we know the coordinate will be x value positive square root 2 over 2. and the y value is negative. Negative root 2 square root 2 over 2. Now we can know. We know the half angle formula. Sine half of A equal to, I need to look at the formula, equal to positive and negative square root of 2 over 1 minus cosine A. Okay, and we know the answer is sine is y value will be positive, so we can eliminate the negative in this particular situation. 1 minus, okay, cosine full angle. Here, the cosine is x value equal